Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, oh. Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, oh. Come let us sing, come let us sing, come let us sing, Hava Nashira. Come let us sing, come let us sing, come let us sing, Hava Nashira.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Rabbi Barry Silver on behalf of Congregation Va-Dor. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to our Shabbat celebration. There was once a minister who had a son, and the son had a license to drive, but he didn't have access to the car. So he asked his father, "Dad, please, could I use the car once in a while?" So the father said, "I'll tell you what, if you get good grades, if you study the Bible, and if you cut your hair, you can have access to the car." A few weeks later, the child said, "Hey, can I drive the car now?" The father said, "Well, your grades are much better, and you're studying the Bible, but you still haven't cut your hair." And the son said, "Well, Dad, I was thinking about that. In the Bible, Moses and Noah and Samson, Jesus, they didn't cut their hair. Why do I have to?" And his father said, "Yeah, but they walked wherever they went." My friends, we're getting back to the old days, the days of the Bible, a simpler time, when perhaps things were a little easier to understand. Simple values, that's what we're reverting to today. So I hope you'll let your hair down, relax, and join with us. And to help us celebrate the Shabbat, we have Raylene Fenton, who is going to be celebrating her birthday by lighting candles. Not birthday candles, but Shabbat candles. We also have Rose and Sandy Lopater, our president and our cantorial soloist. And they will be leading us in the Kiddush, the wine. Why? Because on their wedding day, which they celebrate, they both drank some wine together in order to realize that when we are husband and wife and we drink from the same cup, all our joys are made that much better, and all our sorrows are easier to bear with the love and support of our partner. And now, let the Shabbat celebration begin.
Good Shabbos. Another week of work is ended. Again, Shabbat brings welcome peace. We pause from our labors to let Shabbat give another dimension to our lives. These Sabbath candles are symbols of the holiness we seek. Their brightness dispels gloom and lights a path to faith and hope. Their glow reminds us of the sacred bonds that link us to our people over space and time. Their radiance summons us to fulfill our people's mission, to cast the light of freedom, justice, and peace upon all the world. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I am so glad you are able to join us for tonight's Shabbat celebration. The beginning of Shabbat is marked by reciting a benediction sanctifying the day. Kiddush means sanctification. It is the prayer recited over the wine through which Jews proclaim the uniqueness of Shabbat. Sweet wine has long been used to make Shabbat just a little sweeter. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu Shabbat Kadisho, B'Ahava Uvratzon, Hinchilanu, Zikaron Lama'aseh Bereshi, Ki Hu Yom Techila, Lamikra HaKodesh, Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu V'Acharta, Yotanu Kidashta, Mikol Ha'amim, V'Shabbat Kadshecha, V'Ahava Uvratzon, Hinchaltanu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Jews, partners of Jews, friends of Jews, those of you who've met a Jew once, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we invite you to relax, pull up a chair, and sing along as we present Shabbat, Day of Rest, Day of Rest. Fridays really are the best. Light the candles, say the blessings, let your spirit do the rest. Glass of wine, challah bread, or a dinner roll instead. We don't care if you're not Jewish, black, white, purple, pink, or bluish. Take a break from the week, rest your head and weary feet, 'cause Friday nights are never second best. Invite your friends to dine, serve them a lot of wine. Day of rest, day of rest, day of rest. Day of rest, day of rest. Put our Shabbos to the test. Paper plates or fancy dishes. Try the hummus, it's delicious. Tell some jokes, sing some songs. On Shabbat you can't go wrong. Spend some time at your own table. Bake a kugel if you're able. Throw your cares to the wind. Let tranquility begin. This weekly holiday is heaven blessed. So come and lift your glass. Another week has passed. Day of rest, day of rest, day of rest.
My friends, it's now coming time in the Jewish calendar where we're beginning to approach Hayamim Hanoraim, the days of awe, the high holy days. And you might think, well, that's pretty far off. Why do I think about it now? Well, just like if you were going to enter a tennis tournament or a basketball game, you'd want to practice up and warm up. So we have our sights set on the high holy days and we get used to that and we start to practice for it. The days of awe really should describe every day that we wake up and see the beauty of nature, and every day that we have our health and our blessings and our friends and family. These should all be days of awe. And so we begin to celebrate Shabbat with these wonderful prayers. Each one should inspire within us a feeling of awe and wonder as we have the blessings that talk about the unity of the cosmos, the blessedness, the sacredness of the cosmos, and the love in the V'ahavta that we should have towards all living things and towards our wonderful heritage. So now let us enter into moments of prayers shared with us through the beauty of modern technology and some wonderful videos and some wonderful talented artistic talent that we have here at Va-Dor Rabbi.
Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Va'ed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה, זה לינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, ועזרת שרה.
My friends, our lives are filled with modern conveniences and things that make our life easier, sometimes even that prolong our life, and technology that allows us to communicate throughout the world in an instant. However, conversely, we're also filled with noise and cacophony. Sometimes it's hard to get away, and it's so wonderful to go out into nature and experience the wonderful sounds of life. It's also refreshing and wholesome and healthy for us to have moments of silence, of reflection and contemplation. And so now we're going to spend a few moments in silent meditation. But I hope amidst the silence, we might try to absorb some of the beautiful music and messages and orations from our past so that we can fill these moments of silence with wonderful things that we contemplate in order to make our lives better. We now enter into a few moments of silent meditation.
לפנלה רפואה שלמה אל נא לפנלה. Please heal this soul מי שברך אברהם ושרה יצחק ורבקה יעקב רחל ולאה אל נא לפנלה רפואה שלמה אל נא לפנלה. Please heal this soul. Faith and love together we bring hope and healing to those in need, without judgment, without explanation, for we are all God's creation. El na refanala, refuah shlema. El na refanala, please heal this soul.
Ose shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. I reach out to you, Holy One, as my heart longs for peace. Guide my words and my deeds. Bring me closer to your love. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Make peace for all Israel. I reach out to you, Holy One, as my heart longs for peace. Guide my words and my deeds. Bring me closer to your love. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Make peace for all Israel.
ותהה ליבנו, ותהה ליבנו, ותהה ליבנו לעובדך באמת, ותהה ליבנו, ותהה ליבנו, לתהה ליבנו לעובדך באמת. לה 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 ותהה ליבנו, ותהה ליבנו, ותהה ליבנו לעובדך באמת.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMavarach. Baruch Adonai HaMavarach L'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim. V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. This is the famous story of Moses sending the scouts to reconnoiter the Holy Land. V'yashvu mitor ha'aretz miketz 40 yom. And the scouts returned from reconnoitering the land after 40 days. V'yelchu v'yavo el Moshe ve'el Aharon ve'el kol hadat b'nei Yisrael. They returned to Moses, Aaron, and the entire congregation of the children of Israel. El midbar Paran Kadashah, to a place known as the wilderness of Paran Kadashah. V'yashivu otam davar. Ve'et kol ha'adat ve'yur'um et pori ha'aretz. They returned a report on the land to the people, and they also brought back some of its fruit. V'yispohu lo ve'yamru banu el ha'aretz asher shalachtanu v'gam zavat chalav u'davash. They said, we have gone to that land that you sent us to, and it is indeed a land flowing with milk and honey. V'zeh priyah, and here is some of its fruit. Efes ki oz ha'am hayoshev ba'aretz. But unfortunately, the people who live there are very, very strong and powerful. Ve'ha'arim v'tzorot gedolot me'od. The cities are extremely well fortified. V'gam yaldei ha'anak ra'inu sham. We also saw children of the legendary giants of the story of Genesis. Amalek Yoshev Ba'aretz HaNegev. Amalek is dwelling in the land of the Negev. V'Achiti v'Hayevusi v'Amori Yoshev B'Har. And the Hittites, Jebusites, and the Amorites, they are dwelling in the mountain. V'Kna'ani yoshev al hayam. The Canaanites are dwelling by the sea. V'al yad hayarden hayahas kaleb azav ha'am. The people were very afraid, but Caleb quieted down the people. Il Moshe v'yomer alo na'aleh v'yarashnu otah. And he said, don't listen to these people. We can take the land. We can conquer it. Ki yachol nuchal la. Yes, we shall overcome. V'anashim asher alu imo amru lo nuchal la'alot. But the people that went with him, the other 10 scouts, they said, no, we shall not overcome. Ki chazaku memenu. For these people are stronger than we are. V'yotziu davat ha'aretz asher tahu ota el bnei Yisrael lemor. But there was rumbling among the people, and the masses were saying to each other, no, this is terrible, we cannot take this land. Asher avanu ba latur ota eretz achelet yoshveha. The scouts said, this is a land that consumes the people who live there. It is a very tough land. The people we saw there are giants. We saw legendary giants as described in the book of Genesis, hybrids, children of God and men. Min hanafilim, munehi be'eneno kachagavim, v'chen hayino be'enechem. We saw ourselves as grasshoppers compared to these people, and thus we must have appeared like grasshoppers to them as well. V'tisa kol ha'adat v'yitnu et kolam v'yivchu ha'am b'layla hahu. The children of Israel were greatly afraid. They broke out into tears and bitter wailing throughout the entire night. The blessing after the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chai olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. There was once a Boy Scout who returned late to his troop. And the scoutmaster said, why are you so late? He said, well, I had to help a little old lady cross the street. He said, yeah, but that shouldn't have taken you so long. He said, well, the little old lady didn't want to go across the street. Now, I'd like you to compare that story with another one from the Taoist tradition. The sun and the wind were both having a discussion. Which was the more powerful force of nature? They said, I know how we can find out. You see that guy down there on planet Earth? He's walking around and he's got his jacket on. Let's see who can make him take off his jacket. And so the wind blew as powerfully as it could. And it was blowing and blowing and blowing. But the harder it blew, the tighter the man held onto his jacket. And he grabbed it tight. And no matter what the wind did, it could not blow the jacket off of the man. The sun, on the other hand, simply shone brightly. The man suddenly had a feeling of warmth covering his whole body, and he decided to take off his jacket. What is the moral of the story, my friends? The Boy Scout was at odds to try to get this lady to cross the street. He thought he was doing a good deed, but he never bothered to talk to the woman to find out what she wanted. The sun, on the other hand, shone brightly. That sunshine can be compared to love and to the light of reason. And under the light of reason and love, people just naturally begin to do the right thing. He took his jacket off, and people respond to love and to reason better than power and coercion. So we see in the Torah passage this week some remarkable episodes that I'd like to share with you that remind us of these two stories. One is a very primitive and barbaric episode in which a man is picking up sticks on the Sabbath. This is a violation of the Sabbath, and they approach Moses, and Moses brings the question to God. Says, God, what should we do with this man who's violating the Sabbath? God said, that's an easy one. Stone him to death. And that's exactly what they did. This is reason 12,008 why modern Jews don't consider this to be an infallible word of a divine being. Obviously, whatever our conception of the divine is, it should not include someone who would enact laws that make absolutely no sense and punish them with barbaric execution. It seems to us that this could not be the product of divine intelligence and divine goodness. But my friends, even though these stories emerge from our primitive past, within this very passage is the spark, is the genesis of some of the greatest, most sublime teachings that thousands of years later are still inspiring people today to create a better world. Why do I say that? Because it was our president, President Biden, who was responding to the savage, barbaric massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 100 years ago. And when people got discouraged and thought that racism is impossible to overcome, he reached back into the Torah, although he didn't reference it, with these words from the Torah, even though he said it in English rather than Hebrew. And what did he say? He said, we shall overcome. And he said that was the creed of the civil rights movement, and indeed it was. On the lips of Martin Luther King and civil rights leaders and people marching for justice were the words of the Jewish scripture right out of this passage. We shall overcome. And when things get dark and gloomy and people think like the scouts, the 10 scouts of the promised land, we can't do it. It's impossible. We should have gone back to Egypt. We want to be in our comfort zone. We remember these stirring words from the Torah. Yachol nochala. We shall overcome. And anytime, my friends, that we get discouraged in our life and think that something is impossible, let us remember that the Jewish people, reciting this creed, this motto, we shall overcome, have overcome incredible obstacles and have outlasted all the empires that tried to destroy us and have given a vision of reality, a vision of peace, a vision of harmony and love that we've shared with the world. And most of all, we've conveyed our message of hope. We shall overcome. These first stories that I mentioned to you indicate what does it take to overcome. Not brute power, not forcing people to do our bidding, forcing them to cross over into the street or cross over into some other area where they don't want to go. It's the light of the sun and reason. It's dialogue, it's discussion, it's listening, like the Shema tells us to do. Don't just tell someone you should be doing this or doing that. Listen to them, share with them, discuss with them, and speak with them. We saw the sad tale of Naomi Osaka, one of the greatest tennis players in the world today. And people think, how is it possible that she has problems? Why is it that she couldn't even attend a press conference? The tennis authorities couldn't care less. They didn't want to ask her. They didn't want to talk to her. They just said, you're fined. And they just fined her money. They didn't stop to think, maybe we should discuss it with her. Why doesn't she want to do the press conference? Some people find this impossible to understand. They think, she's a champion tennis player. She's got all the money and fame anybody could possibly want. What could possibly be bothering her? Why couldn't she just attend a press conference? My friends, as usual, I would like to turn to my favorite TV show, to Star Trek, in order to try to understand this. I go to the episode referred to as Amok Time. This is the Pon farr, when Spock has his mating urge and he has to go back to his native Vulcan planet. And there he has a contest for the love of T'Pring, who was destined to marry him. And he got into a contest, a battle to the death. I won't give you all the details. But finally, this other person that wanted to be with her, and she wanted to be with him. Afterwards, he renounced his victory and said to him, "You may have to pring." But then he said these iconic words, almost as iconic as "we shall overcome." He said to him, "After a time, you may find that having is not so pleasing a thing as wanting. It is not logical, but it is often true." What he meant was, now that you have won her love and you have her, you might find that having her doesn't satisfy all your needs like you thought, because unless your relationship is built on love and values instead of just arrogance and conquest, it won't do you any good. Why do I bring that up with Naomi Osaka? Do you know that the most successful people in the world are often the most miserable? They often resort to drugs and sometimes suicide because they're so despondent. How could that be? How could it be that they have everything that most people would ever want? It's because of the wisdom of what Spock said. Wanting something, working for it, committing yourself to a just cause. This is what makes life beautiful. In fact, when we think that if we only had money and fame and power, or a person that we want to be with, if we had that, we'd be happy. When we have all of that and we're still not happy, we think, what's left? If this doesn't make me happy, what could? And people sink into a deep, dark depression. Why? Because having is not as desirous as wanting. And also, we humans were meant for something more than just having possessions. We need something to motivate us of a higher level. Love, a quest for justice, a desire to make this world a better place, relationships with other people, enjoying the beauty of nature, working towards a goal, not just having, but working for something worthwhile. That's what Judaism is all about. That's what we're here for, my friends. We also saw the tragic shooting in Miami of 3 people who took out machine guns and wiped out people in a matter of seconds. Why is it that our nation is still plagued with this problem? Because we don't talk to each other. The issue is politicized. We don't do what Isaiah said, "Come, let us reason together." My friends, in this Torah reading, we see a barbaric passage of people stoning someone for picking up sticks, but we also see the most enlightening, the most inspiring passage that still motivates people thousands of years later. We shall overcome. My friends, let us remember that if we have courage, if we have confidence, if we work together, if we unite with one another and stop all this partisan bickering, if we devote ourselves to Jewish ideals, and if we are willing to leave our comfort zone, we will no longer wander in the wilderness, but instead, Yachol Nuchal La, or as President Obama said, Si se puede, or as we say in English, we shall overcome. Shabbat Shalom.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. afraid. We are not afraid. Say it again. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. Say it. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today.
When we hear one another, there will be peace in the world. When we understand one another, there will be peace in the world. When we love one another, there will be peace in the world. Yes, shalom. Yes, shalom. Olam. Yes, shalom. Yes, shalom. When we believe in one another, there will be peace in the world. When we learn from one another, there will be peace in the world. When we work with one another, there will be peace in the world. Yes, shalom. Yes, shalom. Olam. Yes, shalom. Yes, shalom. We believe that peace will come. We'll see the beauty in everyone. We believe that peace can be, that we're children of one family. Yes, shalom. Olam. Yes, shalom. Yes, shalom. Yes, shalom. Yes, shalom. Olam. Yes, shalom. Yes, shalom.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר
It is now with special poignancy that we read the Kaddish on this Friday night. It was very recently that there was a tragic shooting in Miami, leaving many dead and wounded. We also commemorate the 100th anniversary of the savage and barbaric Tulsa massacre, in which an African-American affluent community was completely decimated, wiped out, hundreds killed, thousands left homeless, stores, restaurants, houses, hotels burned and looted, churches. This was like the Kristallnacht of the United States against the African-American community. And when it was over, adding insult to injury, not one person was punished or prosecuted. There was no investigation. It was swept under the rug. How fortunate we are 100 years later to have a president who cares and who recognizes the fact that even though we've made great strides, we still have institutionalized racism that we need to overcome. Not in every sector, but still in too many. And so we still need to commit ourselves to wiping out racism against the blacks, as well as the vicious anti-Semitism that is going on throughout the country. Let Jews and blacks unite. Let Christians and Jews, let all people unite in order to make it a thing of the past when we have to recite the Kaddish for people who are the victims of racism and hatred. We also lament the passing of so many people due to COVID-19. But on this particular Shabbat, we rejoice in the fact that the number of deaths and hospitalizations is coming down further and further. And finally, we are starting to return to normal. May the memory of all of those who remember on this day be a blessing. Yiskedal v'yiskedash shemei Rabbah, bi'almad yivrach ruseh v'yamlich malchuseh, v'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayeh d'chol beis Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivorach l'olam ulmei ulmaya, yisborach v'yistabach v'yispo'ar v'yisromam v'yisnaseh, v'yisadar v'yishalev v'yishalal shemei d'kedusha b'rechu, le'elam enko b'rchasa v'shirasa, tush b'chasa v'nechamasa, da'amichon bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlam Rabbah min shmaya v'chayim, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace and comfort bring peace and comfort to all who mourn. And may we be that source of peace and comfort for others. And let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Sharon Leibovitz, and we thank you so much for joining us for this first Shabbat of June. We're delighted to have you celebrating with us. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to all those with June Simchas. Thank you to Rabbi Barry Silver, Rose Lopater, Andrew Sussman, Carol Garrett, and Arnie Pickles, and others for their part in bringing these wonderful services to all of us. Each Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. on Zoom, we offer something very unique and special. Our chat with two rabbis, not just any rabbis, but our Rabbi Barry Silver shedding light in a progressive way, and our guest Orthodox Rabbi Zvi Kahn providing us with an Orthodox perspective. They both share insight about the weekly Torah portions, Israel, and whatever else is happening in the world. It's an amazing opportunity for one and all to learn about the Torah and more. We hope to see you this Tuesday, June 8th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. We're planning the best ever High Holy Day services this year to be held in the comfortable auditorium of the St. Aloysius Community High School. We invite you to join with us, celebrate the Jewish New Year 5782 and Yom Kippur together in person. Guest tickets can be purchased from our website, ladorvador.org, or by mail. We also will be publishing our annual Book of Remembrance, where you can honor and remember your loved ones in a special manner. Just to let you know, we offer reasonable and affordable membership with Lador Vador, and these include tickets for our High Holy Day services. We hope that you will join in on our Zoom and Schmooze later this evening at 8 p.m., a time for some wonderful music shared by our cantorial soloists and sometimes even our rabbi. A time when we can share with each other and continue celebrating Shabbat together. Links for all our programming can be found on our website and within our emailed newsletters, The Voice. Va-Dor offers a new view of Judaism with a rational and reasonable approach, applying wisdom from the past and present along with modern science. We honor traditions, respect science, and celebrate spirituality. Join with us and support us as we build the Judaism of tomorrow, today, and unite Jews and non-Jews of all backgrounds and beliefs together in harmony and peace. Help us to spread the word about Va-Dor. You can help by clicking on the thumbs up icon beneath this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel, or by liking us on our Facebook page, or writing a Google review about what it is you enjoy most about Congregation Va-Dor. We will be most grateful to you. To let you know, we're hoping to meet in person for Shabbat services very soon, and we'll let you know about that. Wishing you a joy-filled Shabbat and month of June with much peace, love, and laughter. Shabbat Shalom with love from Va-Dor to all of you.
My friends, this Shabbat, we have a special final benediction because this is the first Friday of the month. So everyone who is celebrating a birthday or anniversary in the month of June, we congratulate you and we bless you with this final benediction. But before the official benediction, in the words of Star Trek from which I quoted, may you live long and prosper. May you leave your comfort zone to become a blessing as we are inspired by the Torah reading, so that you will be able to help others to say the immortal words, we shall overcome. Remember, Moses didn't make it to the promised land, but he was fulfilled and joyous in heart because he helped his people to move closer to that holy destination. May we also help others to be able to overcome all obstacles and problems so that we can help humanity to progress closer and closer towards that promised land. And let us say, Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May you be blessed and preserved with good health. Ya'ech Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of love and of reason shine upon you always. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be lifted up by the inspiring words of this passage to overcome all obstacles. And may you be a source of peace. And I look forward to seeing everyone in person as soon as possible, because Congregation Va-Dor is eagerly looking around for a place to meet once again. We anticipate that we will be all together very shortly. But until that day, until we can give each other an actual hug, I offer you this virtual hug, hug standing for humanity's unending goodness. May this be a wonderful week for you. And I wish you all the blessings of our people and our heritage that we have to offer. Shabbat Shalom.
Shemin tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael.
That Shabbos feeling, it's all my own. I feel so hectic till I say Shabbat Shalom. In any city, I feel at home. Right from the start to the last Birkat Hamazon.
I got that pride in my religion, got my friends and family, got that challah in the oven, it's so hot. We keep these same traditions after so many centuries. victory. That's the way we Jews will rock it on Shabbat. It's Friday night, we'll say the brachot. A cup of wine and a pair of merod. Loved ones are here and we're pulling them close. Around the table, light the candles and bring in Shabbat with both hands, hands, hands. Saying good, good Shabbos, now our joy is in hands, hands, hands. The load right off your shoulders, this is your chance, chance, chance. And everybody's free from worries and plans, yeah. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, 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 come on. Ooh, our weekly names got old. Took God 6 days to make this beautiful world whole. Then on the 7th, God slowed his roll. And that's why we take one day to refresh our souls. I got that rest and relaxation from my head down to my feet. Smell that hot, delicious cooking when we nosh. Ooh, I can't wait for Shabbos music, singing so harmoniously. Shoes on lock, the way we dive in on Shabbat. It's Friday night, we'll say the brachot. A cup of wine and a pair of merod. Loved ones are here and we're pulling them close. Around the table, light the candles and bring in Shabbat with both hands, hands, hands. Saying good, good Shabbos, now our joy is in hands, hands, hands. Take the load right off your shoulders, this is your chance, chance, chance. And everybody's free from worries and plans, yeah. So just dance, dance, dance. 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 Oh, yeah, yeah. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Light the candles and bring in Shabbat with both hands, hands, hands. Good, good Shabbos, now our joy is in hands, hands, hands. Load right off your shoulders, this is your chance, chance, chance. And everybody's free from worries and plans, yeah. Shabbat shalom to everybody. Shabbat shalom to everybody.